Hi, I'm Donna Russo, and this is the Today Show LA and Disability Channel, and I'm so happy to be here. It's an exciting show today. I have some guest hosts from the other cities that do the Disability Channel. And I'm Donna Russo, as I said, and I'm leading actress and dancer for Donna on the Go, YouTube series, web series created by Peggy Lane. And this is the Disability Channel, the channel that promotes and trains people with disabilities for training in digital media. And they work with veterans and employment for veterans and people with disability. So we'll be back. Hi, everyone. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
So I want to introduce everyone. There's Tracy Schmitt from Toronto, Canada, and she hosts the Today Show in Toronto. Nice to have you, Tracy. Yes. And we've got
wonderful to
Rachel
be here,
Handler.
Donna.
Yeah, this is exciting because we're all hosts, and I get to hear about different things about the different cities. And this is Rachel Handler. Just say hi, Rachel. And she's the host for New York Today's Show for the Disability Channel. And Christopher Power. Hi, Christopher. From Halton, Canada. And he hosts the Disability Today's Show for Halton. So, yay for all of us hosts here. So I'd like to know a little bit about you. And we'll start with Tracy, if she could tell a little bit about you. Tracy,
Well,
take
Donna,
it away.
Thank you for having me on your show. I
Yes.
am an international speaker. I've been in Oprah Magazine, and she shared my quest for the gold. I'm a World Cup sailor, sailing against able-bodied men, 27 men and only 3 women, and everybody had their hands and their legs. And I am missing my hands and my legs above knees. And I'm a parasport downhill skier, bronze medalist. And I have a very lucky video called Nobody Left Behind with over 100 million views that blew me away. And now, thanks to Chris Power, who we're going to hear more about, I can also add actress to my name. So I am very excited to be. Yes.
Oh, you're awesome. I know you're very athletic and you're awesome. And I've seen some of the things you've done, like skydiving. And that is just incredible and awesome. And we are so happy to have you as a host on the Today Show, and so happy to have you here. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Donna.
How are you? Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm so glad to be here. Yeah, and so wonderful to meet all of the other hosts. So I'm here repping New York City. I'm an actor, and I've worked in LA a lot, but I call New York City home. I've been in NCIS New Orleans, New Amsterdam, Goliath, Law and Order SVU, Bull, and I'm in a show called Best Foot Forward coming out on Apple TV, and it is a show near and dear to my heart based on Josh Sundquist's life as a kid growing up as an amputee. It's going to be amazing, and it's a game changer for family television that is completely inclusive of disability. And then also in the fall, I'm in a totally opposite show called Interview with the Vampire, where I don't want to give anything away. So,
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
I have something to say. I have a connection here. We just did a show with ZCO Dance Project at the Theater for the New City.
Nice.
In
Oh,
New York.
I love
It's
those
called,
little smaller indie theaters. They are the
Yes.
lifeblood of the theater scene in New York City. Yeah.
Yes, it was. It's called Mosaic, and I participated because I'm based out of California, but I participated by video, doing dancing and acting. So that was a way for me to connect to New York without being there. So, but I do love New York because I did travel there with Alvin and the Chipmunks and the Magic Camera a long time ago.
Oh,
So fun.
amazing. Shout out to Zizelle Shava, who founded ZCO. She's an incredible dancer with a disability.
Yeah.
And such a strong advocate. Zizelle's amazing. So hi,
Yeah.
Zizelle, if you're watching.
Yeah, she it's on YouTube, so it's on YouTube under ZCO Dance Project. And now we have Christopher Power, who is an actor as well. And tell us a little bit about you, Christopher.
So I'm the host for the Today Show here in Halton Hills. I'm a writer, comedian, improv, producer, done a couple of shorts as well, and acting on the side. Voiceover where I can. Love reading audiobooks for sure. I see your face, Rachel. And to Tracy's point, yeah, I was able to create a couple of different projects that feature Tracy and her abilities. She played a mother of a bride in one of the films, and another one, she was a serial killer. That one,
Oh my
and we're
gosh.
trying to make that a feature film, but we're seeing what we can do.
Wow, that's incredible. And I understand that you just interviewed an actress from Little House on the Prairie. And
Yes.
I'm going to start with you, but I'm going to ask you about an interesting person that you've interviewed, and maybe you can talk about her.
Yeah, so I'm trying to interview anybody and everybody that we can give really good platforms for and showcase. We had Matt Frazier, and we've had Courtney Gilmore, who is on Canada's Got Talent, and most recently, Karen Grassley from Little House on the Prairie. She was able to promote her performance of theater in the Victoria Playhouse at Petrolia for On Golden Pond. We talked about her book as well, Bright Lights and Prairie Dust, and she gave us an insight to what it's like to be Karen Grassley versus what it's like to be Ma. But it was a really intimate and beautiful opportunity to speak to somebody who has that history and those connections in that career.
Wow. The most interesting person I've interviewed are the two people that run the Abilities Expo, Lou Schomer and David Korse. And I just interviewed them, and I get to hear about all of the new technology and things that are going on at the Disability Expo and all the different cities that they're at. How about you, Tracy?
Well, I've been lucky enough to interview breakfast television TV show Frank Ferragini, and I was blown away about his mental wellness. You know, he has a podcast called Happy Molecule, and he's on the radio and breakfast television. And one of the things he asked me once was, you know, what is the opposite of depression? And I thought possibly enthusiasm, right? And he said, it's actually hope. People have lost all hope. And I think that that's what's so great for all four of us as TV hosts interviewing people, is that we keep hearing tons of magical stories that in the background is some thread of hope for all our listeners. And your puppy clearly agrees with this passionate.
I'm so sorry about that, but they're my dogs.
It's a shout out.
Actually, they're my roommate's dogs. They're here as well. Hey guys, say hello, but not too loud. Okay. And Rachel, how about you?
You know, I've been fortunate to interview 5 guests so far, and they've all been incredible. I think the most interesting, just to me personally as an actor, was interviewing Ryan Haddad, who is a playwright and an actor as well. So right up my alley. And everything he said about inclusion and diversity within the industry, I thought was just so on point and relevant to today. He's always been such a strong advocate, and he's not shy. And I thought it was a really informative discussion.
Okay, that's great. I want to know how you guys see that disability has changed. Have you seen things that have changed with disability? And I think in television and film, it's gotten better. Of course, there's a long way to go. We do have people on shows such as 911, NCS, and also we've got Special, which is a great show that I was on. And what do you think, Tracy? How has it changed for you?
Well, I think it's pretty extraordinary that Chris cast me as a serial killer and lawyer. Like, I love being a powerhouse, sexy woman in this movie, and that's coming up and coming out, and we can't tell you too many secrets. But I do think in the world of people with disabilities, we came a long way, where we were out and about and working in education. And, you know, when I was in school, I was the only child with a disability, with a visible disability that you could see through elementary and high school and college. And now the kids are fully integrated. It's not like the segregated classroom in the whole school. And they certainly still exist, but someone like any of the 4 of us on this call, we would be fully integrated. We would not be in a segregated class. But what I found with COVID is that we went backwards. You know, my beef with life was, you know, everybody always said, "Oh, can I help you?" And it was a wonderful world to know how kind it was, because everybody on the planet wanted to open a door, but nobody ever said, "Hi, can I have your phone number?" You know, except maybe Chris, you know.
I have it.
But now people cross the street to not talk to me, to avoid needing to open a door, which I'm fully capable of opening. And they're afraid that I'm like walking virus or something. And so I'm a little heartbroken. Or I was before this weekend. I did a next level up professional development course, and I realized, you know, I am still a powerful, loving, sexy woman, and maybe what I was putting out there was attracting this. And so I think it's really important that we are accountable, that who we're being is what we see, what shows up. And so I think shows like these are great because who we're being is powerful. And so what shows up in the world is powerful roles for people with disabilities.
Exactly. We're going to take we'll be back in a moment. We're going to take a little break.
All about inclusion and really giving everyone a fair say.
Welcome to the Today Show. This is our flagship show. I am Unstoppable Tracy.
I am Zach Damon.
It is a pleasure to be here. I am excited. What is up?
We have a great show today.
Jay Stoyan here for the Disability Channel, the world's only inclusive channel for and by persons with disabilities.
Get ready to be inspired, everyone.
We have people watching from all over the world, but also all over Ontario.
We also take a concerted attention in the veterans community.
In moments of stress and trauma, we can get a hold of ourselves.
To help make a difference for people with disabilities, to show people how to love themselves or their disability.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, giving this platform for myself and other people with disabilities.
Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this episode of the Disability Channel of Detroit. Please tune in next time.
We're back. And now we're going to hear from from Rachel and Christopher about how they feel their changes with disability for them. Rachel?
Yeah, I mean, I became an amputee 10 years ago, and I feel like the change has been happening quicker than ever, but also way slower than we want it to. When
Yeah,
I
I feel
first,
that way too.
yeah, like when I first started auditioning, it was for a lot of non-disabled roles. I'm fortunate where I can hide my prosthetic leg with pants or a long dress or something. And I've played a lot of roles like a nurse or a juror where my disability has nothing to do with it, which is amazing. But lately, there have been more roles that I've been auditioning for that are specifically written for someone with a disability, a mobility disability, or a prosthetic leg, which is really cool because I love when it can be included into the story. But I have found that like a lot of those disability specific roles, especially when it comes to prosthetic legs, have mostly been for military roles or just people who are very like, I stand up to authority and I'm angry, and that's not me. So I'm waiting for just more opportunities for disability to be seen as like just something complex, and that's not just one note. And I feel like a lot of times when there are complex roles with disabilities, they go to non-disabled actors, which is beyond frustrating, right? So yeah, it's horrifying. Like there was going to be a show, a movie by J.J. Abrams about Virginia Hall, who was an incredible World War II spy and wears a prosthetic leg. And he tapped Daisy Ridley to play her without even considering other, people with disabilities to play this iconic disabled role. So I think there's a long way to go. Like disability is still sort of out of mind, out of sight. But we're getting there. We're like trudging ahead, Just the other day I was in the dog park and a woman like commented on my leg and she was like, "Oh, I love the sparkles." And I was like, "Thank you." And it's nice to see that like the more disability representation we have that's authentic on TV and film, the more comfortable people are in society with accepting disability and acknowledging disability. And I think that's so important that, the two are so intertwined. So the more authentic representation that we have, the better the world will be. Yeah.
I feel like if there was more opportunity for us to meet like some directors, some producers, and they can get to know you, and then they won't be so fearful, or they would get to know you and know, hey, this is possible and I can work with these people or this person. How about you, Christopher?
I feel that when we look at this, it's really just a matter of kindness and a piece of education and acceptance. When I met Tracy, for example, I had a lot of questions, and she kind of looked at me and was like, "No, you can ask them." And as I've said to her, I'm very frank with my questions sometimes. And I feel that's kind of what we're missing is this. We're taught not to ask questions. We're taught not to approach. We're told, no, leave them alone. They have a hard enough time, or they need to be treated different. And it's really this turn that we're able to actually approach somebody and say, "Oh, okay, hey, I like the sparkles on your leg," or "Do you need a hand with this?" And it just seems to be that educational piece. And for myself, I've taken it upon myself, and I encourage everyone to, is I have invisible disabilities. And for me, I always ask people, "Hey, could you repeat that? Or can you say that again a different way?" And where before I would sit there and just struggle through it, I'm now throwing my hand up saying, "Hey guys, I don't understand what's going on here. I need you to take some more time with me." And doing that has made, I'll say, people coming up and being a little bit more friendly and approachable with how they're choosing to communicate or the questions they want to ask. So I think just that open kindness of education is really what we need to be. It needs to be a larger push.
It's true. And we have such a different point of view on our stories and just what we've been through that it gives a different look. It gives a different perspective, and a very heartfelt perspective. And I really think it needs to be heard. And the perspective is very authentic, genuine, and true. What you go through as persons with disability, as we all have our stories, as everyone has obstacles and things they've come up against. But I just want to talk about the different cities that we're in. For Los Angeles, the most exciting thing here is, entertainment and the people. And I love Los Angeles because there's so much a variety of things to do. I mean, concerts and theater and film and television. And I'd just like to get a perspective of your cities and what you think is exciting. Tracy?
Well, I live in Toronto, and Toronto is right on, Lake Ontario. So we have the beautiful water, and it's a lake. So, and as a sailor, it's definitely influenced my whole life, because that's what I did as a young girl, was sailing camp, and grew up to be a World Cup sailor. And we have the CN Tower and the Sky Dome, which are great tourist attractions. And, so there's all the sports that come to the Sky Dome, and all the incredible singers that come and showcase in this town. And there's great discounts for movies to come to Canada, which I know Chris will probably be more versed at and explaining. But we've always got movie trailers in the streets, which is kind of a fun piece of Toronto. So certainly love living in Toronto. And Toronto is very much nobody left behind. And so people, they might grow up in small cities, and whether they're lesbian, bi, gay, trans, queer, plus, or whether they're a person with a disability or a person who's Black or white or some other color, Toronto is one of these super accepting places where people from all over come to live. And so as a result, we have incredible restaurants and a lot of diversity in our food. And I imagine that might ring true a little bit in New York, but without the water.
Yeah, well, New York is New York. It's fabulous. There's such a diverse population, and so many things for people to do. Right, Rachel?
Oh yeah, it's true. We do have the Hudson River, which is beautiful, and the East River. So we're surrounded by rivers. It is an island. I love New York so much, but it's sort of a love-hate relationship because it's not very accessible. The city, the MTA is awful when it comes to accessibility with the subways. They just said that within the next 30 years, they're going to try to make at least 50% of the stops accessible. I think I'm getting the statistics wrong on that. But right now, it's like less than a quarter of the stops are accessible, which is really hard for people with, strollers or luggage or on crutches or whatever, people with temporary disabilities too. It's not just for people in wheelchairs, which no one seems to understand. So it's really frustrating that the system is so bad still in 2022. And I also think that when it comes to accessibility, people just aren't thinking about it. I see a lot of folks with disabilities homeless on the streets, and that seems to be the only time you really see disability. So I would love to just, have New York embrace disability a little more, especially with Broadway. Like right now, you don't have to wear masks anymore in the audience, which is hard for some people with disabilities. They might want to see a show but not feel safe anymore. So I think we've got a long way to go in New York, but I love being here because of Broadway. I love musicals and plays, and I was just in an off-Broadway play. And I love the food scene. I'm a total foodie. And I think it's like the most amazing city in the world, but there's a lot of work to do when it comes to accessibility and making it a priority, because it's not right now.
I see.
Yeah.
And Chris, real quick, how about you with Halton?
I'm in Halton Hills. Historically, it was a little farm community that grew up to be suburbs and the little town that can. In terms of the accessibility around it, we do a really good job here. There's always room for improvement, but certainly from Toronto and New York, I think we're ahead of the curve with that piece of it. But I mean, Halton is fantastic for trails. If you like hiking and going rock climbing and things like that, it's we're on the escarpment, so it's you got to really be an outdoors nature type of person. If you're not, then it can be a little stale. But yeah, it's neat.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I want to thank all of my guests here, and I also want to give a shout out to the Today Show, the Disability Channel, and which does employment training and for media, and also for veterans. And if you want to get in touch with the Disability Channel, you can email Jay at thedisabilitychannel.ca, and you can look on the website, thedisabilitychannel.ca. And there's another dog. I love it.
A kitty cat.
Can you hold up your dog again?
My cat decided to join us.
Oh, your cat.
I could hear the meows.
Oh,
there she is. Hi, beautiful.
Yes, we love our pets, and they're all around us. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure, and I hope we do this again. I hope we visit again. So, love you guys, and bye now.